Hey everyone, I'm Allison and you're watching Long Island Thrifter. Today I'm back in Baldwin, New York. Let's go thrifting. Today I'm checking out American Thrift at 668 Sunrise Highway in Baldwin, New York. If you saw a video I did a few weeks ago, I was at the Farmingville location, which is much bigger and much newer. This is an older one. These were American Eagle slides that were kind of cute, but they were $7.99 in the store and they're selling for only $20 online. So I didn't find any sold comps and I decided to leave those behind. I was interested in checking out some of the artwork and this was very interesting. So this painting is $39.99. They're part of a series. The one behind it, another flower, is $49.99. And this yellow one is $9.99. I don't know who's doing the pricing there, but they need to step up, if you know what I'm saying. And I think you do. This was a really pretty planter, but not for $30. I like the goldfish inside. It's so cute, but $30 is a lot. This Wizard of Oz mug was $3.99. And I'm used to buying mugs for like $1. This was Warner Brothers, and I did find some for sale, but I only found one sold comp for $6.99. So definitely not worth picking up for $3.99. So I left that behind as well. I do like checking out some of their knickknacks and things like that, but I kind of feel right now with the economy the way it is, people aren't going to be buying a lot of that stuff. They're going to be going towards necessities. This is $4.99 for this vase, but the mug was $3.99. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And don't get me started on Raydon. No, staying away from it and leaving that behind. But this I picked up. This was a Cleveland glass, milk glass pedestal planter for $4.99. And it was in nice condition. I was just trying to read that embossed part, and it was the Cleveland glass information. I did find one that sold for $15. I didn't think it was a great deal in picking that up, so I did leave it behind. This was a pretty canister for only $3.99. And then I really loved this vase. It was very pretty. I couldn't tell if it was French or Czech glass. It was hard to find any comps on this, but for $2.99, what a deal. How pretty is that? I did find a similar one selling for $14.99, but it was much smaller. So I did leave it behind because I didn't need it in my inventory because that would sit for a while. These were interesting. One's an AC/DC and the other ones are Beatles pint glasses, and those were $9.99. I did look them up online, starting with the AC/DC ones, and they kind of run all over the place. There were a bunch for sale, and there were no sold comps on the AC/DC one. I did find these two of the Beatles ones selling, but again, no sold comps, so I did leave that behind. This was a really beautiful china set, and I think they wanted $79.99 for the 30-piece set, but I wasn't going to pick up a china set. This is interesting. These, I think my grandmother had these, but she had them in blue, which were really pretty. And I loved this little tea set in the back. I didn't recognize where it was from. I think it was Bohemia. But again, these are things that I don't think people are going to be buying that much of. But then I spotted, wait a minute, are you the type that has to put the things back and match up where they're from? Because I do that all the time. So yes, I put them all together to make that a complete set. And I was really happy. Everything looked a lot cleaner and more orderly than it usually does. And then I spotted these. Wait a minute. Yeah. These are a collab between Corel and Star Wars. And I was like, are you kidding me? These are adorable. $15, but there were 8 of them. I did look them up and I found sets of 4 that have sold for $40 and for about $35. So while I did leave those there for a little bit, I did come back and get them, and I did buy them. This was a divided dish that was $1.99. This looked like it was something from mid-century for $4.99. There were 2 plates. I didn't know what these were. If you know what these things are, there were 2 of them. And I can't tell if that's a bud vase, possibly. This is what they look like. One was $1.99, one was $2.99. It's so hard with clear glass to look these up. So I did not pick them up, but I thought they were super interesting. And I like to go towards the unusual finds. These were aluminum, and they are, that looks like a pot leaf, doesn't it? It really does. Uh, but there were two of them, and it was Worcester Ware, which I believe is an Ohio company. This one sold for $18.89, and then this, both of them were $7.99 each. I did leave them behind. I do have good luck with selling aluminum pots from the 50s and 60s. I did find a similar one for sale for $30 on that pan, but I did leave these behind. They would have needed a lot of cleaning up, so I didn't want to have to deal with that. Something they do interesting here is that they group a lot of mugs together that are not matches, but you have to buy the whole group. This was interesting just because of all of the markings on the back. It was $4.99. It said half and half, but then I didn't know what a lot of these marks were, but I did leave it behind. I didn't need anything like that. And then back here, I found a little Turkish teapot or coffee pot or butter warmer. That was $10. I was like, no, I don't think so. Come on. When you look them up online, look, there's one that sold for $4 and another for $12.95. So $9.99 is kind of crazy to sell that for that price. And yeah, I do always look at the mugs, but you see this? They are mismatched ones that are stuck together and you have to buy the grouping, which I can't stand. I really don't like that because sometimes you find one mug and you're like, but I'm not going to spend $6 for four of them. A few days ago, I was watching a reseller talk about CDs and vinyl, especially hip hop and rap. That's early stuff. And so I was curious and I walked into the CD area and I found this DMX CD, which was in good condition. And I just started looking up comps, and then I saw this one selling for $75 and I was like, no way. I can't believe this. Then I found one that sold for $70, but it was signed. And another one that sold for $5.99. That also was signed. But then a majority of them sold for anywhere from $7 to $13. So I did leave it behind, but it's an interesting area to kind of look at every once in a while, and especially the demo ones. That's what he was talking about. It was a great video, and I really learned a lot. I was kind of curious about what was in the bag, and I knew it was a bowling bag. This was only $10, and I assume it also included the bowling ball, which looked like it was in nice condition. But does anyone sell out there bowling balls? I mean, do people buy them? I'm just curious. Asking for a friend. Leave a comment below. This bag was adorable. It's just a reusable bag, Harper's Bazaar on it, but when I looked it up, I believe it was from Walmart. And they wanted $5.99 here in the store, and I think it only sells for like $8 or $10 at Walmart. So I loved this rooster. Yes, I won't do the rooster noise, but it's $15. This is cast iron. I did find two selling for about $28 to $32, but no sold comps, so I did leave it behind. And then I saw this beautiful pink depression glass cake plate, which they wanted $12.99 for here in the store. They really are a very expensive store. Sold comps run anywhere from $13.59 to $18. And then I did find an Anchor Hocking one that sold for $49. I'm not sure what the one in the store was. Then I walked over and I looked at these lampshades. This one was $14.99 for this hanging lamp. And then this shade was $79.99. It was definitely for a table lamp, I believe. I don't think that was for a hanging one. And then the one next to that was $119. Again, I guess whoever, every day someone different is going to be pricing. So I don't know. Over here, I picked up these Christmas feather twist classic candles. There's two sets of them. They were only $1.99 for both sets. So I thought that was a good deal, especially when I looked them up and I saw how much they are selling for. And I found a similar one that had Noel on it for $19 for one pair. And that wasn't even in the box. This intrigued me. It looked like a bird bath wall sconce, and it's $4.99, but I see some kind of writing down there, and I don't know if this was resin or pottery. It was hard to tell. I liked it in some strange way, but I also found it extremely heavy. And I said, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to resell this. And I don't need that in my inventory for years. But I really did appreciate it. Do you see a marking there? Because that's what I see. If you know what it is, please drop a line below. Thanks for watching, Long Island Thrifter. If you enjoyed this video, I think you're going to like this one next. Keep on thrifting.